Bienvenidos a la Midwest Flyways podcast. I am your host, Cal Ness, and with me I have Joey Vassallo and Quabby Cotto.
You got to say that more with your chest.
I said it with my chest.
You went like high pitch. You got to be like, Bienvenidos a la Midwest Flyways podcast. I am your host.
Dude. See, what happens is when I go to like getting in my chest, I immediately go to this squeaky high pitched voice.
You get like really try.
Bienvenidos a la... See what I mean, dude?
Bienvenidos a la Midwest Flyways.
Bienvenidos a la Midwest Flyways podcast. I am your host. Is that a little better?
That was a Spanish Count Chocula.
A little bit. Yeah, dude. That's kind of what they sound like when they do the goal. Goal!
Oh. Messi, golazo!
That's what they do.
That was a Spanish Count Chocula, though.
Yeah. Bienvenidos a la Midwest Fly. Yeah, that's good.
Holy shit. Oh, what a way to wake up. I was getting
good.
a little sleepy, too. That's funny.
Like
Guys,
that?
thank you so much for listening to this week's podcast. I just wanted to talk to you quick.
Careful for your shoulder, bro.
I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about our review count here. I said we're going to do a badass giveaway here once we get to 1,000 reviews on Apple Podcasts. And guess what? We're only at 700 something. So, looks like you guys don't want cool shit. I don't know if you knew this, but this podcast is also brought to you by Turtlebox, First Light, Ducks Unlimited. We got Migra Munitions. We've got so many different things. Onyx.
SoundGear.
Think about Outlaw
beer.
Think about all of the cool shit you could get.
Yeah.
You know?
A lot. There's a lot of stuff. And also found out that the only way we get higher in their rankings so other people can listen to us is if you subscribe. That's apparently the only thing that Apple uses to figure out if we're a good podcast or not. So please subscribe. It will download our podcast, but they will delete off your phone. So just, that'd be great.
Now let me bring you into like a real description of a sponsored thing here on this podcast. We're going to start off with First Light here today, and just going through, like how we're planning our season, because it's the middle of summer right now. We're hot off the 4th of July.
Hot.
And we got an email from First Light saying, like, hey, what are your plans for this year? And you know what? It got me really, really pumped up. And it's like, you know what? I can't wait to put on my waders again, put on all this cool shit that is so nice from First Light, and go out and kill some birds. Now, you go out and check out First Light, please. That'd be amazing.
Firstlight.com.
Jess.
Some sick stuff.
Jess. That is Jess. Jess.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, you're old.
I am old, dude.
For sure, officially.
Yeah. Yep. No.
So you broke your shoulder just wiping some stuff?
Wiping. No, I was putting a jet ski back on the lift on the 4th of July, overhead cranking from the water, and felt a tear. Not good. I felt something that I've never felt before, and it hurt really bad. And then a couple hours later, picked up my daughter and thought I was going to cry. I was like, oh, no, I'm old as shit. So
broken.
Cal was saying it's probably more serious than I think, so I should probably go and get an MRI and make sure that I can even frickin' hunt.
Well, I mean, if it hurts to raise your arm up.
It doesn't hurt to raise my arm up like this, right?
Okay.
But when I held my 30-pound child, I just about cried.
Yeah. I guess you'll just have to see. Sounds like an MRI is what the doctor ordered for you, sir.
Great. But, I do pay a lot for health care.
I was going to say.
So might as well put it to use.
Fucking use it.
Yeah. Might as well put it to use.
Yeah.
Sir, actually, this isn't covered because blah, blah, blah. And I already battle insurance companies every day for work. So get ready.
Get ready, dude.
You got a fight coming.
Yeah. Dude, it is it's unbelievable what stuff costs.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's really fun is when you're signing up for it.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, oh, yeah, this is covered. This is covered.
Oh,
and
for
then,
sure.
And then they're just like, actually, it's not. And
Ooh,
then you
whoops.
say, why is that? 60% of the time, they're like, oh, yeah, that should be covered. What are we doing? Yeah, sorry, we shouldn't have sent you that bill. First of all, fuck you. Second of all, how many people just pay that?
So many people.
And so that's what they're doing.
For sure.
For sure, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Now I'm upset, and now I'm going to question everything.
Yeah, and if you're out there listening to this, absolutely you should question everything your insurance company tells you. If there's a
Mhm.
claim and they tell you something, triple check it. Look in the bylaws, look at all the paperwork, look at all the fine print, read up, because they're scamming you, bro.
Scam.
Right. Insurance is a scam.
Scammy. Yeah, especially when you have kids.
For
It's
sure.
like, oh, that Tylenol that we gave your wife, that was $180.
Right. Yeah, we went into the doctor after Riri was born, and she got that cauterizing cream put on her belly button.
Mm.
And can you take a good guess in the dark at what they charge us?
$380
$460
for cream.
for someone to take 10 seconds to apply a little bit of cream on her belly button.
And what did you do?
What do you mean, what did I do?
What
My
did you
insurance
do?
paid for it.
Oh.
I'm just saying that's what they charge our insurance company for that.
Yeah, that's...
$460.
Now, does that mean that there's an industry problem? Yes.
Is there a problem? Absolutely, there's a fucking problem. Cream is $460.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I went to school for 7 years.
To put cream on?
I get to charge $480 to take 10 seconds out of my day and go,
Yeah, but the best part is the lady that put it on is making like $30 an hour.
No, I know. I know.
What I saw, I don't know if this is a tinfoil hat type thing. I don't know if Joey's going to back me here or not, but
Uh-oh.
I saw that the hospitals charge a lot and then tell the insurance company it's going to cost this much. And then the insurance company just says, I'm not going to pay it. And then nobody has to pay it, so the hospital can take it as a loss, so they don't have to pay taxes.
Huh. Interesting.
That's what I saw.
I don't
That's
believe
a,
it.
It's
but
a very common thing in every business.
Okay. That's what I saw. So
That's
that's
very common.
That's why, because the cream doesn't actually cost that much, but they charge that
well,
much.
of course it doesn't cost that much.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's
just
just like-
Tylenol at the hospital when Annie had the baby. I think they charged us like $40 for one Tylenol.
Mhm.
I mean, I can buy those at the store.
Right. No, that's a stupid loophole.
It's crazy.
You know, there's things where it's like, I shouldn't have to pay for this. You know, or, you know, it's 100% a write-off. So you can expense it to your business. There's certain
Sure.
things where it's like, dude, what are we doing here? You know?
Yeah, I don't really know I'm not an expert. I don't know all the medical ins and outs and bylaws and whatever, and I'm sure they're different for everything.
Here's the one that threw me for a loop where I was like, okay, something's wrong here. So a car dealership, right? If you're higher up in the employee level, like if you're a manager or a sales manager, or if you
Okay.
own the dealership, right?
Sure.
You can just drive whatever car you want.
Right.
You know? Like you don't own the car.
Right.
The dealership owns the car.
Correct.
The dealership takes that as an expense, and when they sell the car for less because it has more miles on
It's
it,
a tax write-off
it's a tax write-off.
for sure.
What are we doing? Just get your own damn vehicle. Maybe you shouldn't overprice your shit.
Well, it's like the same thing as a company giving a company vehicle.
Right.
Yeah. Except for
Stupid.
them, it's just that's their company vehicle. They own all of them.
It's so
They
annoying.
can do
Dude.
whatever they want with them.
So dumb. So
Yeah.
dumb. Oh, $400 for this cream.
Right. You know, in that sense, then every business should just become a very part-time car sales
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
You know, just buy 5 company vehicles and park them in a lot and say they're for sale, except for never sell them to anybody.
Right.
Just let someone drive them home every day.
I'm debating on buying us company vehicles
Yeah.
for this.
Yeah.
You know? And then,
Oh, we're a car dealership now?
well, it's not that
Sick,
we're a car
dude.
dealership. It's just like, oh, it's just an always depreciating asset
Yeah.
that we can take off of our taxes.
Yeah. Dude, we are a car dealership.
Like now our company just has a loss every year and we pay no taxes.
You know what's actually funny that you say that is there are some businesses where you ever do this where you go and you charge your card and then when you look at your statements on your bank, the charge for it is for like a completely different company. Because like another company owns that company, so you're actually paying this
Oh,
other
yeah.
company.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen them where I've gone to
Payroll.
like a restaurant or something.
Payroll loophole.
Gone to like a restaurant and you buy food, and then on your bank statement, it'll say like
Border Foods.
motor
Instead of-
finance.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's nonsense.
I saw one the other day. I'm not gonna, publicly humiliate or name names here, but yeah, went and got some food. And then on my bank statement it said blank blank motor finance. But it's the same name as the restaurant that's in the motor finance name. So just imagine it, and it's just obviously this is a fake, but like you go to Chipotle and on your bank statement, instead of it saying Chipotle, it would say Chipotle Motor Finance.
Yeah.
Just bought my food
So
from
weird.
motor financing company.
You know, back when I was doing physical work for companies, I'd be doing the work for, North Roofing.
Yeah.
And then I'd get paid from something payroll services.
Yeah.
LLC.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's going on? Like, well, if anything goes wrong, the company's okay, but the payroll company will just have to go away. I'm like, oh, so I'm the one getting screwed here. So if I don't get paid enough and I want to sue you, I have to sue the damn payroll company that you can just flush down the toilet.
For sure.
This is so shitty for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Smart.
Some people got it figured out.
Yeah.
All the loopholes are figured out.
We should do that for Midwest Flyways.
I was going to say, how many loopholes can we get? Can we finance motor vehicles?
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be
for
cool.
ourselves. And
Anyway.
then a car dealership on top
Waterfowl.
of it. Yeah, sorry.
Waterfowl.
Yeah.
You were saying to me that you really want to work on your goose calling this summer.
Yeah.
How's that going?
Not great so far.
You haven't done it?
Not that much.
Haven't touched?
I've touched it.
You've touched it?
Yeah.
How's it going?
I've blown a little bit. Good. I think I'm just trying to be as comfortable as I can with as far in both ranges as I can right now.
What does that mean?
Instead of just blowing your goose call to sound like just that one goose,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to just cluck as high and as low and whatever as I can. Just
Mhm.
cluck and moan. Just get my clucks and moans.
What did you feel like was something that you wanted to work on?
I
What did
think
you wanna get
honestly,
better at?
because here's the thing for me. I do not want to be, I don't care to be a contest caller. It does not motivate me in any way to be like, oh, I'm going to be a world championship goose caller. I think what I really want to work on I think will be actually fun is figuring out how I can, because I don't think I'm an awful, I'm not embarrassing if I'm just clucking and moaning,
Mhm.
I'm not going to go out there and change the flock's mind. But if I'm out there with a couple of good callers, I'm not embarrassed to cluck and moan.
Yeah, you're contributing.
Yeah, so I think I want to figure out the best way that I can get on a good page with people that are really good, where I can sound, Joe the other day was talking about that separation calling where it's some guy's moaning and then the other guy's clucking.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a really good
So you want
caller.
to get your rhythm down.
I just want to get my rhythm down with other callers in the blind. Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to feel okay, these guys are doing this. This is the best way for me to contribute right now,
Mm-hmm.
Just have a better idea of what
Yeah.
would be most beneficial.
The reason why I ask is because I've been doing calling lessons here and there throughout the summer, and I've been working with a lot of people on tone,
Mm-hmm.
and I've nailed it. I've nailed how to help people with their tone. And so that's what I was thinking about for you is just getting that.
I'm feeling pretty good with tone, actually. Not bad.
Well, I haven't heard you call in
Right.
forever,
Yeah, we'll do it.
but I know exactly how to explain it to everybody now.
I think we should film a video
It's
where
foolproof.
we're talking
I'm
about
teaching you.
well, and not only that, but talking about how you can contribute. I
Okay.
think there's a lot of people out there that are good enough at clucking and moaning, but are not ever going to be a contest caller. And so a lot of the time, those guys you care enough to put some time into it, but it doesn't motivate you to be great. So you're well, how can I best contribute on those hunts? So I think that if we filmed it, me and you going through calling together, calling at the same time, where you're leading, and you'll change it up, and then I'm able to oh, okay, we talked about this. So if it goes into this faster rhythm, I'm gonna do this, slow
Mhm.
down, those types of things. I think that'd probably be pretty helpful for a lot of people.
Yeah, should it be helpful for me?
We should do that.
I mean, anyone can learn from that.
Yeah.
Every time I hunt with a better goose caller with me, I always learn something.
What's something that you feel like you want to get better at on a goose call?
That's a really good question. I would say, wow, that's a really good question. Because when we had Sean Stahl here last year, I just feel like I've plateaued in the last couple of years, and I know I can get better. I just don't know what to do to get better, if that makes sense. Scott,
What do you hear other guys do that you're wow, that's so sick?
Their speed.
Because, you're not really aspiring to be you don't really care to step on stage.
No.
Not right now,
There's
at
a
least.
part of me that kind of wants to, but at the same time, I just don't care. If I'm gonna step on stage, I really want to sound good.
For sure.
I want to win. I'm not going up there to just be yeah, I competed.
But the reality is you probably would have to go up there and compete it quite a few times before you're going to win.
Of course. But
You
No,
just want to feel like you're
I
putting
want
your
it to
best
be
foot forward.
correct. I want everything to be put together and like know that there's a chance I could win.
When you're hunting with other guys that you consider to be better callers than you, you know, like really, really great callers.
We'll say that again.
When you're out hunting
Yeah.
with other guys that you would consider to be better callers than you, like guys that are very good on a goose call or a duck call, what do you hear them do when you're hunting that you're like, yeah, it'd be cool if I could do that better?
Air control, speed, and consistency, which just is a matter of practice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I don't practice like I used to by any means. Like I almost feel like I was a better goose caller than I am now, if that makes sense.
No,
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
I feel like I was blowing my call so much more. And so
You might have felt more like you were, you know, kind of in stride with your call because you were blowing it so much.
I found in
like,
the last couple of years that I'm like falling off on air control and speed. Like I lose my breath a lot. A lot.
That's just a practice thing you're saying. Built up
Right.
your lungs.
Right. And then especially since I stopped smoking and I started vaping, I stopped smoking, started vaping, and now I just do nicotine pouches like Zyn. When I'm giving lessons every now and then, I will feel like an air pocket filling in my upper lip, like where I would put the Zyn, and I know that that's a thing for people who chew, and that's a problem. And I'm like, oh. So I have to focus on my lips being tighter on the call and like really focus on my cheeks not puffing out. So that's why I'm like, I think I was a better caller than I am currently. But no, I'm just gonna focus on building my air pressure back up, and then like there's no notes that I need to learn or like get better at and shit. It's just being more consistent whenever I pick up that call.
When you pick up the call right now, do you feel like you know exactly what you want to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I have that down pretty tacked. That's what most people are asking me when they want to do a lesson is they want to work on cadences to kill.
Yeah,
geese.
situational.
It's kind of tough just because the cadences that I've done is mainly based off of like rhythm.
Well, I think Joe gave some really good points last week.
Right.
You know, at the end of the day, it's like, can you cluck and moan?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they're far away, you're clucking, double clucking more rapidly, a little louder, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If they're locked up and they're committed, you know, like Joe said, I mean, all he's doing most of the time, you know, just moaning.
Right. I tell you what, though. Like, yes, the clucking and moaning is like the main way you kill geese, but learn how to do the double cluck for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It takes less air than a cluck does. Same thing with a quick spit. Takes way less air than a cluck.
Mm-hmm.
So you're able to produce more notes without becoming more gassed.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I was just asking because like the last 5 people I've worked with, it was all tone. And I was able to explain it pretty quick. And it's just a matter of where your tongue is in your mouth to relation with the top of your, the roof of your mouth.
How much air you're letting through?
Depends on the call.
Sure.
But it's no, it's like how close your tongue is, because I've said it 1,000 times. Like Kyle Jones, Scott Trinan, Joe Heinz, Mike Benjamin, how they're just railing off all these notes, right? And if you think about how you're blowing your call, your tongue is probably further away from the roof of your mouth than you realize,
right?
And so you're going, like that, trying to
takes too long.
Takes too long. It's not efficient, and you're for sure using too much air. The tongue is closer to the roof of your mouth. It's automatically breaking that reed over quicker, and it's giving it a raspier tone.
Mm-hmm.
So
the air's kind of squeaking out of there.
It's not squeaking. It's just it's making the reed vibrate more.
Yeah.
So squeak. And I always show people, here is me blowing a moan, and then I'm going to slowly bring the tongue up to the roof of my mouth, and you can feel your entire mouth vibrate.
Right.
And it's just, it takes way less air. You're able to hold that note longer. There's just a bunch of shit that goes into it. It just makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
But I think tone is like most important. To sound like geese, you want to sound like geese.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, truly, if you like go and listen to geese, I mean, on the ground, a lot of those geese sound like they're fucked.
In what regard, fucked?
Like they are not. You're not. If you go listen to geese in a park or in a field, whatever, it's absolutely not true that every goose is in there with beautiful, good tone. Honk, honk. I mean, there's so many.
They all
geese,
have one thing in common, though.
which is that they honk and cluck and moan.
No, that they all have a certain like buzziness to them. Like you'll never hear a high pitched honker.
That's not true.
Pretty true.
I mean, you will hear.
Ducks, I've heard ones that
It's
sound
not like
they're
a
throwing up.
lesser, but they
Right.
definitely have different tones.
Yeah, but they're generally close. They're generally pretty close.
Man, I have heard geese in a field where I'm like, wow. So if that was somebody calling, I'd be like, that's bad, bro. Don't do that. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you shouldn't have try to have great tone, because there is a certain tone I think that sounds really good that emulates a lot more geese. But I'd be lying if I said that you can't go and if you find a field with 100 geese in it, 5 or 10 of those geese sound terrible.
That's pretty high. That's pretty high.
Yeah,
I'd
I
say
mean,
I'd
I
say
think
1 to
it's true.
2. I'd say 1 to 2.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we should film it this year if we have a chance where we're if we see some fields
know
where
where to
there's
go.
some geese in it,
I know.
or
I know where
parks
to
or
go.
whatever. Yeah, we should do it. We should go film it
I've got a good
because I
spot.
do think that there is certainly a perception that and remember when we hunted with Logan's uncle?
Yeah.
Randy,
Mm-hmm.
and he was calling, and he's talking about. Remember what he told you? He's like, "Oh yeah, no. I mean, when you listen to ducks on the water, he's like, they sound like shit half the time." He's like, they sound terrible. He's like, if you can blow the call halfway decent, he's like, you probably sound like one of those ducks. And I think that is true, man.
I think it's a mixture of what I've told everybody is rhythm is most important,
yeah,
but then, like you said, most ducks sound pretty close. They sound like more.
Yes,
most ducks
yeah.
and geese sound pretty close. Obviously, you're gonna have the one that goes.
right,
Sounds ridiculous.
yeah, or super high pitched.
But it sounds like it's a duck from the cadence.
yeah. No, I think you're right. Cadence is probably the most important thing. But I do think that, and that's not me saying that people shouldn't try to have good tone.
That's what it feels like.
I'm just saying I do think there is kind of this perception that if you don't have the tone that you hear from some of the best callers that you're in some way scaring geese, or geese and ducks aren't going to be interested in coming into your spread because your tone wasn't perfect. And I don't think that's true personally.
I've seen it, but I don't think it's going to happen every time.
I mean, I've seen some guys calling that are pretty bad at calling where it matters for sure. Where it's like a kazoo or something. That's bad. But, a slightly higher pitched call versus a lower pitched call. If you have the cadence and you sound if you're 70% of the way there, I don't think you're making geese or ducks leave.
Sure. And I'm thinking of 10%.
Yeah, no.
I'm thinking of 10% the way.
No, I'm just talking about if you blow a call and it's honk, like that, and then somebody else is honk,
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
you're not going to scare geese away or something.
No, it doesn't
If you're
matter.
breaking your read over and doing what the call is supposed to do, but your tone just isn't 100% of the way there,
You'll kill birds.
you'll kill birds.
You'll kill birds.
Don't
you won't
be
kill
afraid
every
to
bird.
blow your call.
No one will kill every bird. But,
Right.
But the better you get at calling, the
Yeah.
more probable you are to kill more birds.
Yes.
We know that.
Yes.
We know that.
Absolutely.
Now, we know this, Carter.
Carter's busy.
Carter is busy. He's
Yep.
a busy boy over there.
Yeah.
Now I noticed he started putting the light right in front of him, so I can't look at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the camera, really. He's got you kind of blocked off.
Well,
Sneaky boy.
where else am I supposed to put it?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. We've
He's
done
just
plenty.
imagining you there.
I'm just seeing a bright light.
Perfect.
And some white teeth right underneath the light.
Thank you.
Hey.
Yep. Could they be whiter? Yes.
Yes.
Mine could be whiter too.
Everyone's.
Yeah. No shit. Anyway.
This podcast, by the way, is also brought to you by Ducks Unlimited, and you can donate to Ducks Unlimited for $35 a year. Makes you a Ducks Unlimited member. They're doing a ton of restoration work, and they do everything they can to keep ducks in the United States so we can keep hunting them. Go to ducks.org. to donate today. I'm pretty sure you've heard of it or you're living under a rock.
Yep.
So, should we draft or debate?
I say we draft first.
Okay, let's draft. I love it. This is going to be a fun one.
Yep. We're doing,
Okay.
for the draft today, we're doing build the best hunter.
Yeah.
And
Best
you got 3 things.
best 300 characteristics. Carter, you're playing this one too?
You go first, and I'll let you know by the time it gets to me whether I'm playing or not.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Are you ready?
Go first.
You want me to go first? Okay. So this is just like theoretical, right? Like we just get to build this guy however we want.
Mm-hmm.
Best characteristic you could have, I think personally, one of the best that you could have if you want to be a great waterfowl hunter is if you're rich. So first thing, if you're rich, like that just opens a lot of doors for like not having to work as much. You can travel a lot more. You can spend tons of money on gear. Anything new comes out, you've got it. Big trailer, big boat, big beautiful women.
You remember what I did in my draft where I just encompassed everything in one?
Yes.
You just did that. You
Not
bastard.
really. No. That's not true.
Have
There's- I
everything
have
you
s-
need. You can
I
be anywhere
literally-
at any time.
I think this is my list of. Okay, yeah, but those are all separate things. This is just if you're rich, then you kind of have those things. So yeah, exactly what you said. Okay, go ahead. You're
Cool.
draft your first
Pete
one.
and repeater in a boat. Pete falls out. Who's left? Who's left?
I fell out.
Repeat. Okay. I would say number 1 for me in like the list of like best, better, worse. Just world champion collar.
I knew you were gonna go for like the things that actually make you a great duck hunter.
No, yeah, no, it's just
I'm
like
going for like the characteristics that like
no, yeah, no,
I like
and,
it.
and I love that.
yeah.
Just the world champion collar who's been doing it forever, so he can do anything at any time, and he knows what to do.
Yeah.
You know, that dude is gonna put ducks in
That
the boat.
guy's killing more ducks than you.
Oh, 100%.
For sure.
Kurt.
Geese for sure.
Canner.
I've got one that I think is a little better than that. Infield experience. Like 50 years of infield experience.
I just coupled that in mine, but yes, I totally agree.
I think that matters more than a world championship collar.
I think that's probably true actually.
Being
Like,
able
no
to
one-
read the birds.
That's your opinion,
understanding
bitch.
the
like
birds.
a Scott Trinan out there watching the birds.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
no,
like
December
insane.
17th, it's going to be a good day. How
Yeah.
do you know that? I cross-referenced my journals in the Farmer's Almanac.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Number 2.
Number 2. I wrote down way too positive of an attitude. Because just most of the time, like, shit's going to go wrong. Something's going to happen. You're going to have a terrible hunt, whatever it is. The guy that's always like, oh, yeah, no, we're going to get him tomorrow. Let's go scout right now. Let's do it, man. It's going to be fun. We're going to do it. That guy's just always killing more birds than the guy that's like, it's not working out here. We should just head home.
Sure.
Way too positive.
Nice.
Okay.
I think mine's better.
Okay.
And so far, I don't think we've ever had this guy. You know, I don't think we've ever had this. Well, Wallen was pretty close. Wallen's pretty close. The guy who can literally fix anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally fix anything, man.
What do I?
Just always has all the tools that you need. Boat axle falls off.
Yeah. Oh, got
that
it.
dude has a socket wrench set, and he has an impact. And he's like, oh, yeah, the closest flea farm is 3 miles from here.
Let me walk
I
there.
also already have a $200 gift card, so it's not going to cost that much. You know, like that guy.
The guy
he
that's
always
like a
has
part-time
extra-
mechanic.
He has ratchet straps in his truck. He just has everything needed to fix anything. We need that guy.
That's a good one.
We need that guy.
Okay. Carter?
Mine would be the workhorse. No matter what you tell them to do, whatever they have to do, they just get it done.
Shit. That was mine.
They just do it. The guy that he'll be fine blinding in 12 layouts, whatever he has to do. Not me.
Why was that so
I
funny?
I can't say. I'll have to say later. Okay. All right. That's a good one, Carter. My last one. High tolerance for lack of sleep and alcohol. That's
For
a great
sure.
characteristic to have. I mean, if you can handle your liquor and you don't need a lot of sleep, then duck hunting's gonna be a lot easier for you.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Oh, man.
For sure.
You guys have taken some really good ones. Probably the third for me is Mr. Always on time. Always on time.
Yep.
Championship caller, mechanic, always on time.
Yeah, that's important.
Isaac Hills, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we just described Isaac Hills.
I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, he's a pretty good caller. He's a great mechanic. Kid's never late.
Yeah. No, it's true. That's actually not true. He was late one time.
Was he?
Yep.
He's probably
Just
really
him and
sorry
I.
about it.
I mean, for the amount of times that I've been late with him,
Yeah.
I didn't care.
For sure. Yeah.
I wasn't
How
going to
could you?
razz him. Sorry, I'm late. I was like, bud, I can't say shit to you.
Yeah.
And he was like 4 minutes late. It's fine.
Joey would have been like, I'm on time. This is on time.
It's on time.
4 minutes is fine for me.
Cal would have been 10 minutes early. So
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Now, what time did you get here today?
12:10.
And what time did we say we're going to meet?
12.
Okay. I just want to make sure I was wrong.
No,
I
yeah.
wasn't wrong. Okay.
hey, my
Totally.
car overheated. I had to pull over, and I was on time.
He was still on time.
I can't wait until our studio is at like a commercial building.
Joey will be late every time.
time.
Not true.
I know you'll be late every time.
Not true.
On Wednesday nights, bud.
No. No, dude. I've carved this into my schedule for the last...
But you're going to have to carve out another half hour now to drive.
Oh, that's
there.
fine. Everyone in my life knows this
Wednesday
time
night.
is this, yeah.
All right.
Yep, nobody even calls me.
That's going to be good.
Yeah.
That'll be really good.
How many phone calls have I received during the podcast in the last 2 years?
Little to none.
Not a ton. You
What does
do
that
get them
tell you?
when we're down here, though, before we start.
Yeah, before, for sure. Anyway.
My last one would be the local or the guy that has connections no matter where you go.
Yeah, that's a great
Totally.
guy.
That's a great guy.
That's a
to
great
have.
guy. Just always has permission on
Yeah,
everything.
just knows
Yep.
everyone in every state.
Doesn't matter where the birds are.
Nope.
He's got it.
He's got 4 friends
Oh, yeah,
around
my
there.
farm buddy down here, his brother owns some of this land. Like, how, bro?
Our
We're
kids
5
go to
states from
school
home.
together.
Right.
How?
In college.
Yeah.
Hey, you're 40.
Permission guy is always the great guy.
Yeah.
So you can vote on who you think won the draft
Yes.
on Instagram later in the night when this comes out on Thursday into Friday.
There you go.
Beautiful.
There you go. All right, guys. One of the things that I really want to talk to you that's near and dear to my heart and my ears is wearing hearing protection. And this podcast is sponsored by SoundGear. I cannot tell you how bad my hearing has gotten in the last 5 years. It's really, really bad. And it's made me realize how quickly I should have used hearing protection in my life with how many guns have gone off, how much construction I do, just loud noises in general. I have this watch that tells me whenever I'm in a loud environment now. And it's a lot more than I realized.
Yeah.
It's not good. And so, and I'm not even realizing that it's a loud environment.
Right.
Does that make sense? And so we're partnered up with SoundGear, and they gave us some Phantoms, and they are just life-changing when you're hunting. I cannot explain to you how necessary they are. Bite the bullet, pay the $1,400 that SoundGears cost. You can even get lesser price ones, but they don't have as much bells and whistles on them, as many bells and whistles on them. And Cal's looking at me because I'm messing up my speech here.
Bells
but
and whistles. on
bells and whistles. Bells and whistles.
You can use code Flyways for a discount on Phantoms or a discount on Instant Fits, which are their cheaper option.
Go check out SoundGear. We love them.
You're going to love them. You won't regret it. I've not one person that has asked us for a code or bought them. We tell everybody, let us know if you don't think they're worth it.
Right. And
Every person will
nobody's
always
responded.
message us and say, I can't believe I waited so long on these.
No, it's actually very real.
Very real.
So, anyway,
Yes.
the great debate.
Let's debate. Carter, what's our debate this week?
This week's topic
Mhm.
is traffic versus feed hunting.
And what you'd rather do.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Let's flip a zinny.
we're going to flip us in.
'Kay.
We're
To
going to
see
give the real stuff here. So, I'll be heads for trafficking.
Heads would be what?
The top.
Heads.
No, I know.
This
but-
is heads.
Okay.
Heads for trafficking, tails for feed. I'm tails for feed.
Okay, so you're feed hunting.
I'm feed hunting.
You're
And you're
feed
trafficking.
hunting. I'm traffic hunting.
Yep.
Okay. Sounds good. Would you like to present your opening monologue, or would you like to let the challenger present his opening monologue?
I can present.
Go ahead.
I can present. So I would say feed hunting is better, and the whole reason why we flipped a coin here, by the way, is because neither of us are opposed to either one of them, right? But they both have their pros and cons. And obviously, if you see a field with 800 geese, you're going to be like, I don't want to do that. I don't think so. So, for feed hunting, you know exactly what's there. You know exactly what's going to happen, or you should, right? And so you have this overwhelming confidence, and you can actually build a true game plan to go into it and say, here's where the geese are sitting. That's where we should go, you know? And so you know what's going to happen. You know how many geese are going there, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, weather and everything can affect everything completely different, because how many times have we gone to a feed and none of them show up? Or 10 of them show up, or half of them. It's a kick to the dick, for sure. But with feed hunting, if you're going for feed, doesn't really matter what the species is. You have a higher probability of killing them, in my opinion here. That's my opening monologue.
Okay. I think what traffic hunting offers you is a lot of flexibility. Okay? And a lot of the time when you're hunting feeds, right, you have to consider the idea that you're burning that field a little bit. Mm-hmm. So when you have an area that only has, at any given time, a few feeds in it, which is pretty common, like depending on what parts of the country you're in. But a lot of the time you'll go to, like, you know, a town. If a town is holding 5,000, 10,000 geese, right, there might only be 4 or 5 feeds. Sometimes there's less. Sometimes there's only a couple of good feeds. Right. So when you're holding that few birds, and then you find them in a field, and you go and you hunt them in that field, you've pretty much effectively burned that field, and sometimes you've burned quite a few of those geese. Because then if they're migrating, now you've hunted them in a field they felt safe in, that they were eating in, a lot of the time those birds, they leave town. They don't stick around. When you traffic hunt them, you have the ability to pick multiple fields that you know are on their flight line from the roost to the field that they're actually feeding in, which opens up a lot of options for you. Because now you can pick not only the best field that has what you think would be like the best option for food for them to eat in, but you can also weigh a lot of the pros and cons when it comes to your blind and your hide situation, right? So now if there's a field that is on a great flight line that you kind of want to set up in, but there's this other field, and it might not be, like, for instance, field A is corn, and, you know, field B is something else, and you're like, well, I'd love to be in the corn, but there's no hide. If there's another field that's on that flight line that you have a way better hide in, now you kind of give yourself the same opportunity to make another decision, you know? So what traffic hunting gives you is just a ton of flexibility, and usually you're not going to burn those fields, especially if you only have a few of them. That's why I think traffic hunting is better.
Sure. I mean, you can argue and say that, let's say there's 1,000, or you said 10,000,
sure,
right?
Just
there's 10,000 geese, and they're going to multiple different feeds, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can go to one feed, you know you're going to kill birds there, and then those birds are going to go to a different feed, or they're going to go back to the roost,
or
right?
leave.
So then you can bounce from feed to feed to feed, and you can choose which feed you want to hit, you know? I mean, the goal of it is to kill your limit, you know? And so if you think you can kill your limit in one field versus the other, traffic versus feed, you know, you're going to pick that field.
Well, the other thing that's fun about traffic hunting is it's a challenge. You know, you're kind of testing yourself a little bit. You get a group of good callers together. You have to plan it a little bit differently. But if you can convince those geese to come to a field that they don't necessarily want to be in, that's half the fun in general too. I mean, you always talk about, you know, enjoying the kind of the relationship, especially with goose calling, where you have such a great relationship with the bird. When you're calling at them, you can really convince them and trick them to do what you want them to do. Mm-hmm. And with an X field, obviously, you don't have as much of that opportunity, because really, if it's an X field, you should be able to go there, set up a few decoys, and be quiet, and birds are coming to that field. With traffic hunting, half of the fun for guys, you know, once you start to really become obsessed with bird hunting, is being able to trick the geese, make them come to a field they didn't really think they were going to be going to that day, and you're still preserving that, you know, X field.
Yeah.
So you kind of get a little bit of a nuance. It's sort of a game within a game that way too, which makes it more fun.
It's really hard to traffic ducks.
For sure.
It's really hard to traffic ducks because if there's that one cornfield they've been hitting for a couple days and you try to go to the closest bean field, the closest wheat field or whatever, it's really hard to traffic ducks. And so if you're feed hunting ducks, you know you're going to kill them, you know.
Yeah.
And your hide can be a little bit less than great and you'll still kill quite a few. But, again, it's burned, you know.
Unless they don't show up.
Yeah.
Which,
so,
you know, and the hard
and if
part
they don't show up for your traffic, if
then
they don't show up for that feed,
then a lot of times your traffic field's fucked too. The only thing that I will say though is it isn't that uncommon if you're on a good flight line. A lot of the time, the birds that might have been going to an X field, it's not that they don't get up to go eat. They've just found a new field.
Mm-hmm.
Quite often though, that flight line that they took, that's kind of how they're finding their next field. You know, like. If they get off the roost and they fly 3 miles to their X field, okay, and now they decide one day they're going to change their field. What's the reason that they change the field?
Wind, weather,
or food resource, right? So if they're staying in town, like if they're not leaving town, a lot of the time the way that those birds are getting out and seeing stuff is by getting up and then either flying to like a loaf pond or flying to their feed, right? So that's how birds are they're getting up, they're flying around, they're finding food. So a lot of the time, those birds, they might still use that same flight line, is my point. They might not be going to that X field anymore, but they're still getting up and they know, like, they're still flying a certain kind of direction.
Usually when the feed gets screwed, they're just in a completely different direction, personally, is what I've found. But
I've seen a lot of times, though, where, like, birds will feed in a field and then they'll fly like another mile closer to the roost and they'll feed that field then like the next day.
Yeah, the thing going back to like the debate part, when you're trying to get guys to come out and hunt, like you need more callers and you need whatever, it's a lot easier to get other people to come and hunt with you when you say there were 10,000 birds in this field today versus saying, hey, there were 10,000 birds flying over this field, let's try to bring them into this field. I've always found that more people will say yes to the feed versus yes to the traffic.
Yeah, but a lot of the time, the other downfall of it too, just like you said, you know, if you have 1,000 birds that are coming off the roost going to the same X field and they're coming off pretty quick, it's not really an ideal hunting situation either. Like you don't really want to be hunting 1,000 geese that are all coming within 30 minutes of each other, you know? So if a feed is piling up, hunting a traffic field, you're not going to pull every goose, but now you might pull some. You know, which would still give you, if there's a good number in that feed, you're still looking at a great opportunity to shoot a limit of birds. But it's going to be a more manageable hunt. Instead of pulling packs of like 30 and 40, you might be pulling packs of like 4 or 5.
Sure. I don't think you understood what I said, but I just said like for getting people to come and hunt.
I know. I'm just saying that if I call a buddy though, if like I'm trying to put together a traffic hunt, right? And I'm like, well, we're not hunting the X, but we're hunting a traffic field that's right on the flight line. It's a cornfield. We've got a great hide. And we have been watching these birds pile into this, you know, X field. We've got 1,000 geese that are showing up within an hour of each other. It's not a super manageable spot to hunt. But I've got this traffic field. It's right on the flight line. And I think that we're going to have a great shot to pull good groups of, you know, 5 or 10. Instead of just like trying to hunt packs of 30. I don't think that you're going to have a lot of guys that are like great goose hunters that are going to be like, nah, fuck that, man. I want to hunt that field with 1,000 in it. You know, like they would still want to hunt that feed.
A lot of people would say
They probably would hunt the X. They probably would want to hunt the X, but I don't think they're going to be deterred if you're like, well, we're hunting this traffic field. A lot of the time people put together.
A lot of people get deterred by it. A lot of people do.
I feel like a lot of good goose hunters team up and go and hunt traffic for fun on purpose and trick geese.
Yeah,
they get excited
a very
about that,
small
dude.
amount of the population of hunters, yes. Very small amount, yes. Our friends do.
Yeah.
You know, our friends.
I'm like
but
thinking
then
in my
the
head, I'm
average
like, which of my
waterfowler
friends wouldn't come to a traffic.
The
field?
average waterfowler is like, why don't we just hunt that one? Wait, like if they're
Right.
going there, why don't we just go over there?
Yeah, but then if you give them all the reasons and they don't know, you know, you're like, hey man.
Well, that's
here's
the
why, here's
average.
10
That's the
reasons.
average waterfowler. You know,
Yeah.
we didn't know too much about traffic hunting before 8 years ago. You know,
Yeah.
we were just like, there's the X, let's go hunt the X. You know, it's just the evolution of waterfowl hunting and tricking them and killing them. But
yeah.
All right, guys, that is the great debate. Thank you so much for watching and listening to that. We're going to put a poll up on our Instagram so you can say who won, traffic versus feed hunting.
By the way, guys, before we close this podcast out, OnX is another sponsor of this podcast. And if you're not using OnX, I really encourage you to check it out and use our code MWF20, which gets you 20% off either your elite or your state membership. It's going to give you tons of tools for being able to set waypoints of places that you actually want to hunt, that you've scouted. And that waypoint can give you radiuses of how far you are away from houses. It's going to be able to give you a tracking line if you're walking into marsh and it's kind of hard to find your way out, especially if you walk in the pitch black. You can kind of waypoint track yourself in and out.
There's a multitude.
Multitools. Yeah.
That you can use on there that I don't use all of them, but there's so many for your state, your region, whatever you can use to make your hunt that much easier, more efficient.
Find permission, find out who owns the land.
It just makes life so much easier.
Yeah.
So use our discount code MWF20. Save yourself some money. If you already have a membership, cancel it, renew it, put in the promo code.
Yeah.
Support your boys. Anyway.
Game fair is coming up. So just want to really kind of quick make a mention of that. August 9, 10, 11, and then I think it's plus, it'd be like, what, 17, 18, 19, something like that?
Yep.
Okay. So it's the 2 weekends there.
We're going to be doing some hot boy shit there.
Yeah.
Hot boy
some very
shit.
hot boy shit. We have a ton of new merch, guys, that I have been designing, and Joey and Carter and I have been going through. It's going to be very sick. Tons of new clothing stuff that we're coming out with, so you guys can kind of rep that you're a duck hunter at any time. It's going to be live on our website, which our website is being rebuilt right now.
It's going to be sick.
It's going to be sick. So hopefully, guys, not hopefully, by end of August, our website will be live with clothing. We will update you. Hopefully it's before that, but for sure by the end of August, it'll be live. We will have some merch at Game Fair, and we're for sure going to be there on August 10th. That's a Saturday. We're planning on doing some kind of time slot, maybe at the SoundGear booth or something where we can hang out and everyone could come by if they want to.
But we are going to be recording podcasts while we're there.
Yes.
Yep. Every day, recording podcasts, and then we're going to go and sling some merch while we're there for 3-4 hours at a time.
Game Fair has literally everything. They have so many different companies for waterfowlers, and they have tons of deals on products. So if you live anywhere in the Midwest, I would definitely recommend coming and checking it out. It's in Anoka, and it's literally at Game Fair Fairgrounds.
It's worth the trip.
It's worth the trip.
It's so much fun, dude.
There's so many people there, too, from the waterfowl industry that you could go and meet and talk to. It's 100% worth coming to.
I met so many of my idols in the waterfowl hunting world by going to Game Fair.
Same.
And then also such good deals on everything.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It's so worth it.
That's kind of how I got an in on this job, meeting you guys there for the first time.
That's true.
That's true.
Met
And
a
then
lot of people
messaging us a lot.
Yep. Helping out.
Was it too much? Yes.
Not too much. I'm here.
Here's my
It
one
worked.
thing for Game Fair, though, that no one really seems to understand. Get your money's worth. Get there right away when it opens up.
Yeah.
And save yourself the trip in the line.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yep. And bring $10 cash because you're going to pay to park, and it's going to be in someone's yard.
Yeah, that's so wild.
It's
the people
crazy.
there make so much money by
So much.
Oh, my
parking.
gosh.
And the amount of times that I have an exhibitor's pass and our parking lot is full, or you just don't want to wait for people to get out of the way. You just duck into someone's yard, give them $20, $10.
It's like $10 usually.
And then you just walk into Game Fair.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's the best way to do it. Just like Joey said, get there early, park in the closest house yard that you can find.
Prices go up as you get closer.
That's correct.
There's one that's been pretty consistent, though. He's $10, and he's a very short walk.
It's the one me and you park in every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
the
lit.
best one.
He's great.
Yeah.
Know him by name. Jim. He's great. Joey. Jim. Oh, you're good. Just go in there. Sick. Thank you, Jim. Exhibitor parking full? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Game Fair is always a hell of a time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we're going to
go
be
check it
there
out.
the entire time, and then we're going to be slinging some merch. We're not going to have a lot.
Yep.
So,
A limited amount.
you go ahead. Buy
Because
some.
Dragging boxes of merch in there is
Pain in the ass.
pain in the ass, dude.
Cal,
Yeah.
you've been designing it.
Yes.
It's dope. I've been okaying it. Yep. Cal, a little creative. You a little creative. Love it. I could never do that, and so I appreciate that. Now, here's the coolest part about our merch this year. It's freaking high quality, dude.
Yeah.
It's like good shit.
Yeah, it's nice stuff.
It's not the stuff that's going to shrink in the wash and go away, and
Yeah.
it's going to fade instantly. It's going to be some
It's really-
sick-ass embroidered shit, too.
It's really not merch.
It's not merch.
It's
Apparel.
clothing. It's an apparel.
It's apparel,
brand. Yeah.
It's
just
apparel.
with our name on it.
and it's sick.
It's sick.
It's stuff that you're going to want to wear. Doesn't matter what time of year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So be on the lookout for that. Be sure to like and subscribe. We thank you guys for listening, and we will be back very soon with a ton of new guests coming up, guys, especially with Game Fair around the corner. So stay tuned. We appreciate it. Tell your friends about it. Send your friend your favorite pod or something. I don't know.
Hey, Cal, one more thing.